What if I told you that removing a tiny pest could change an entire world? It sounds simple, but nature is a complex web. Tug one thread, and the whole thing can shake in ways you never expected. We're heading to Antipodes Island, a remote New Zealand outpost, where a well-intentioned fix led to shocking consequences. Imagine a windswept island, a sanctuary for seabirds and plants found nowhere else. For centuries it thrived in perfect balance, no predators, just nature at its purest. But then, an uninvited guest arrived, a tiny creature that would bring this ancient ecosystem to its knees. This isn't just a story about mice, it's about how human actions, even from centuries ago, can ripple through time and reshape the world. The tale of Antipodes Island is a dramatic lesson in ecology. Every creature, no matter how small, plays a role. When we try to fix nature, we must tread carefully. Sometimes, solving one problem creates a whole new set of challenges. Scientists and conservationists would soon learn this lesson firsthand. We'll dive into how these invaders arrived, the devastation they caused, and the monumental effort to remove them. But the real story begins after the last mouse was gone. The island didn't just return to normal, it transformed into something wild and unexpected. In the great outdoors, there's always more to the story, and nature always has the last word. Let's get into it. Our story begins on the high seas in the 19th century. Wooden ships battling the Southern Ocean unknowingly carried tiny stowaways, house mice. For mice, a ship's hold was paradise. When a vessel anchored at Antipodes Island, a few mice slipped ashore, finding a world with no predators and endless places to hide. Their arrival was a biological bombshell. At first, their presence was barely noticed, a few footprints, a rustle in the grass. But with abundant food and no enemies, their population exploded, spreading across the island. The native wildlife, unprepared for this new neighbor, faced catastrophe. Islands are uniquely vulnerable. Their simple ecosystems can unravel quickly when a new species arrives. The arrival of house mice triggered a devastating chain reaction, unraveling the delicate fabric of island life. The sailors who brought the mice had no idea they were lighting a fuse that would smolder for over a century. One small act had set the stage for ecological disaster. The consequences would be felt for generations. You might wonder, how much damage can mice really do? On Antipodes, the answer catastrophic. Mice became predators, feasting on seabird eggs and chicks, decimating bird populations. They hunted unique insects, giant moths, weta, pushing some to the brink of extinction. Even plants suffered. Mice ate seeds and shoots, preventing regeneration and fraying the island's lush green carpet. The entire ecosystem groaned under the pressure of this one invasive species. The symphony of bird calls faded, insects vanished, and vibrant plant life struggled. Mice, just doing what mice do, had become ecological wrecking balls. For conservationists, it was heartbreaking. Without drastic action, Antipodes would lose its precious biodiversity forever. The silence was becoming deafening. The island was dying a death by 1,000 tiny bites. Something had to be done. Faced with ecological collapse, New Zealand scientists knew they had to act. Years of research revealed a grim truth: only total eradication would save the island. The $1 Million Mouse Project was born, a bold, risky plan to remove every last mouse. The method, an aerial drop of rodenticide-laced bait, carefully calculated to reach every corner of the island. The bait had to be irresistible to mice but ignored by native birds, requiring years of testing and planning. Antipodes Island's remoteness and wild weather made logistics a nightmare, but the alternative, doing nothing, meant certain loss. With global funding and support, the project got the green light. This was more than conservation. It was an attempt to turn back the clock and restore a lost world. The stakes were enormous. Success would save a priceless ecosystem. Failure could be devastating. The world was watching. The team prepared for the most ambitious eradication in New Zealand's history. The countdown to action began. In winter 2016, the operation launched. Helicopters equipped with GPS-guided bait spreaders arrived on the island. Timing was everything. Winter meant fewer seabirds and hungrier mice, maximizing the bait's impact. Crews worked in fierce weather, flying precise patterns to cover every square meter with poison-laced pellets. The poison worked slowly, ensuring mice didn't learn to avoid the bait. On the ground, teams monitored for non-target impacts and reloaded helicopters. The goal: total eradication. If even one pregnant female survived, the mice would return. For weeks, the team endured harsh conditions, driven by the hope of saving the island's unique wildlife. After the bait drop, the waiting began. For 2 years, experts and sniffer dogs scoured the island for any sign of mice. The suspense was intense. Had they succeeded? In 2018, the announcement came: Antipodes Island was mouse-free. It was a massive victory for conservation. But the island's story was far from over. The real surprises were just beginning. Nature was about to reveal its next twist. With the mice gone, Antipodes Island began to heal. Plants flourished, megaherbs and native seedlings returned, painting the landscape with color. Ground-nesting birds like the snipe and pipit rebounded, their songs filling the air once more. Scientists saw a boom in bird populations and a resurgence of unique insects like weta. More insects meant more food for birds and more pollinators for plants, a positive feedback loop of recovery. The removal of mice triggered a cascade of positive effects, revealing just how much damage they'd done. The island was coming back to life, a testament to nature's resilience. The conservation team celebrated a textbook example of ecological restoration. But as recovery continued, scientists noticed something unexpected. The island had another surprise in store. Nature's balance was shifting again. Just as the island was recovering, a new problem emerged: an insect explosion. Populations of native moths and beetles skyrocketed, unchecked by the now absent mice. Moth caterpillars began stripping plants bare, threatening the very recovery the project aimed for. This wasn't a new invasive species, but native insects suddenly freed from predation. The mice, while destructive, had unknowingly kept these insects in check. Removing them created a new imbalance, a humbling lesson in ecological complexity. Over time, recovering birds or plant defenses may restore balance, but the episode was a stark reminder: nature's web is intricate. Restoration isn't about going back in time, it's about guiding ecosystems toward a new, healthy future, surprises and all. The island was still finding its equilibrium. Despite the insect boom, the project's ultimate goal was always about the birds, especially the magnificent endangered albatrosses. Scientists discovered that mice had been attacking nesting albatrosses, causing them to abandon their nests. With the mice gone, albatrosses could finally nest in peace, and breeding success soared. More chicks survived, offering hope for the species' future. Smaller seabirds like petrels and shearwaters also thrived, their burrows once again full of life. The island felt alive, the air thick with bird calls and the scent of the sea. For the scientists, witnessing this rebirth was the ultimate reward. The return of the albatross is the emotional heart of this saga, a symbol of hope for fragile ecosystems everywhere. The project proved that ambitious, well-planned conservation can work. A healthy albatross chick, safe in its nest, is hope made real. What can we learn from Antipodes Island? First, nature is profoundly interconnected. Every species, big or small, plays a role. Change one part, and the effects ripple in unpredictable ways. The insect boom showed just how complex and delicate this dance can be. The story is also a lesson in humility. Nature is a powerful, self-organizing force. Our job is often to remove the barriers we've created. The path to recovery isn't a straight line, it's a winding road toward a new, dynamic balance. The $1 Million Mouse Project is a beacon of hope, proving that with science, dedication, and cooperation, we can restore damaged ecosystems. It inspires us to be bold, to take on tough challenges, and to cherish the rewards: a sky full of albatrosses, a landscape bursting with life. Ultimately, this is a story about responsibility. Our actions have consequences that can last for centuries. Today, we know better, and with that knowledge comes the duty to be better stewards of our planet. The silent island has found its voice again, and its message is one of caution, complexity, and hope.